Welcome back to Leaving Academia, Becoming a Freelance Editor. I'm your host, Paulina Cossette. In today's episode, I'll give you some key pointers on how blogging regularly can help improve your SEO, search engine optimization, demonstrate your value to potential clients, and get you noticed so you have a steady stream of client inquiries and income headed your way for years to come. If you've been enjoying this content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you're watching on YouTube. And give the show a 5-star rating if you're listening on a podcast app. This will satisfy the algorithm goddesses and help me get this information out to more people. Now, here's the episode. Welcome to Leaving Academia, Becoming a Freelance Editor, the podcast. I'm your host, Paulina Cossette. In 2019, I was a political science professor who was fed up with the stress and hostility of academia, not to mention the low pay. I left my tenure-track job and went from barely surviving to thriving as a freelance academic editor. Today, I own Acadia Editing Services, an editing and coaching business that brings in 6 figures a year. In this podcast, I'll discuss the challenges of academia, what academic editing involves, and what life as a freelancer looks like. If you're willing to jump outside your comfort zone, it is possible to find joy, true flexibility, and a profitable and rewarding career as an academic editor. Thanks for listening. If you're an academic editor and you want to increase your online visibility and attract more clients, you absolutely have to try blogging. Writing short, helpful articles and posting them on your website, among other places, and I'll tell you where later in the episode, is a powerful way to showcase your expertise, build trust with potential clients, and drive traffic to your website and your project calendar. The first question you might have is, what should I write about? The key here is to provide value. Your blog post should answer pressing questions that your ideal client has. Before you start writing, ask yourself this: who is my ideal client? Maybe it's graduate students, faculty, people on the job market, scholars writing a book. Then ask, what questions do they really want to know the answers to? Maybe they're curious about how to get published, how to land a job, how to get organized and establish a regular writing routine. Finally, consider, what knowledge do I have that will be most helpful to them in their writing, research, and publishing? This is a bit more nuanced, but it could be related to any tips or tricks you've developed over the years to improve the effectiveness of someone's writing, manage time wisely, beat writer's block, or anything else you can think of. Other ideas for blog topics can include general writing tips, like addressing common grammar mistakes or explaining the quirks of Microsoft Word's formatting tools, advice on how to describe particular research methods and results in their writing, like citing statistics using APA style, or suggestions for scholars in a certain subfield you specialize in or who want to publish in a particular type of outlet, like a journal or a book or whatever they might be working on. By writing about these questions and providing the answers, you demonstrate to people who find you on the internet that you're an expert in writing and academic publishing, that you can communicate clearly, and that you truly can help them achieve their publishing goals. Now that you have some ideas about what to write, let's discuss how you can make sure that valuable advice is shared with as many people as possible. So, what are some ways that editors can increase the visibility of their blog posts? Remember, when you're writing, to optimize your blog post for search engines by using relevant keywords throughout your content, especially in the title and in subheadings throughout the article. This is what the experts in digital marketing call search engine optimization, or SEO. There are a ton of fancy tools you can pay money to use to optimize your keywords, but there's a simple, straightforward approach that works too. Think of the phrasing someone would use to do a Google search for their particular question. Maybe they would search for something like, how to publish in an academic journal. How do I write an academic book? How to turn your dissertation into a book. Can PhD students even get published? These are all examples off the top of my head, but hopefully you get the point. Using these types of questions and keywords will improve your SEO. That means that your blog posts and your website will be more likely to rank higher in the list of results from a Google or other search. However, it's very difficult to influence Google search results with only a few articles, so you have to be consistent. And it can take a long time for your efforts to start showing up in SEO, which requires patience. It's taken about a year since I started blogging for me to start getting more website visitors who come from a Google search. And most of those are searching for my name or business name specifically. I assume because they discovered me somewhere else, like on Facebook or Reddit. But I've seen a steady increase in the number of inquiries who note on my contact form that they found me through Google. Remember, all it takes is writing and posting a short article, say 1,000 or 1,500 words, once a week or once every 2 weeks for 6 months to a year to make a difference. While you won't likely end up being the very first search result that pops up whenever someone searches for academic editor, publishing these blog posts will help you get noticed and drive more traffic to your website. Now, if it's unlikely that you'll be ranked number one in every search related to academic editing, how else can we make sure that people out there in the world are reading your articles and contacting you for a quote? One way to increase your reach is by sharing your articles on social media. Because Google can't do everything for you, it's very important that you promote your blog posts on social media and on platforms like Medium and Reddit. Start by creating a free account on Medium. Then you'll find that it takes about 5 minutes to copy and paste your article from your website to your Medium account and to publish it on your new Medium page. Be sure to select relevant topics before you publish so that interested people will be more likely to see the article. While you can subscribe to Medium's paid account, and this may help extend your reach, I don't think it's necessary. The idea here is to get your writing and your name to show up in more places on the internet. This way, when someone Googles their question, they're more likely to see your blog post show up in the list of results because it's published on your website, on Medium, and in other locations. Related to this is the value of Reddit. In the past, I only used Reddit to find answers to questions like, which laptop should I buy? And why is my furnace not heating correctly? Now, however, I find it very helpful to be active in subreddits like academia and copy editing. Redditors are notoriously opposed to people advertising or engaging in self promotion on the platform. But if you see someone asking a question and you have a blog post that answers that question, definitely post a link to your blog. When I dug into the data on my website traffic, I found that in the last year, the largest number of views of my website came from Facebook. More on that in a second. But 424 views came from Reddit. Going deeper into the stats, I learned that half of those Reddit views came directly from a comment I left in a subreddit where I linked to an article I wrote about hiring an editor. During this time frame, I've been hired by about 10 clients who found me through Reddit. Not bad. And the best part of this is that one post, which took me about an hour to write and then 5 minutes to leave the comment on Reddit, will exist on the internet forever, or at least as long as Reddit does. So that small effort to write and share the post continues to pay off for years. And even though initially writing an article can take up some time in your day, whenever someone posts a question in a forum like Reddit, you can just link to the blog post and it will be seen by everyone reading that thread. Finally, I highly recommend being active on social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. The strategy I've suggested that you use with Reddit applies for these sites as well. Be a lurker, not in a creepy way. Hang out in Facebook groups where your ideal clients spend their time. Join PhD and other groups for scholars or faculty. Join groups for writers and authors. Join editor groups. On LinkedIn, send connection requests to scholars in the subfields you specialize in. Comment on their posts. Make your own posts that link to your blog articles and that offer snippets of advice. You can create several such posts by repurposing content from your blog articles just in smaller chunks. On Instagram, search for accounts with Dr. or Professor or PhD in their name and follow them. Look up relevant hashtags and start following the people who post about them. When someone posts about their frustration with their dissertation or publishing, leave a comment with some helpful advice and a link to your website or blog post. It's not weird, it's networking. And remember that in these interactions, your link to your website or blog is not just being seen by the original poster, it's being seen by everyone else who's reading that person's post. And many of these people likely have the very same question and will find your answer helpful as well. In closing, I want to address a matter of mindset that you might find challenging. If you're current or former faculty, or even if you were in corporate or some other field before you started editing, you might not be used to advertising yourself on the internet. We all have an aversion to coming off like a used car salesman, and it can be uncomfortable when you're just starting out to promote yourself in the ways I've described here. So, my tough love advice is this: get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You are a talented person who has valuable knowledge, skills, and advice to share with people who need your help. Think back to when you were a graduate student, trying to finish your dissertation or publish your first journal article. Maybe you were also trying to figure out how to navigate the job market. Academia is a very competitive world, whether we're talking about job applications or publishing, and many doctoral advisors are not very good at mentoring their graduate students. So when you sit down to write these blog posts and share them on various platforms, think of yourself not as selling your product, but as filling the gap that a person's advisor left wide open. Moreover, it's not just graduate students and junior faculty who need help. Getting published is hard work, and everyone in academia is exceptionally pressed for time. If you have a system for beating writer's block or outlining an effective journal article or whatever it may be that you care about, and you can share that with scholars out there who are struggling, you are doing them a service. The thing is, they can't hire you and you can't help them unless they know you exist. And they won't know you exist unless you consistently stick your name and website and lovely photo and helpful advice in front of them where they can see it. People have questions that they desperately need answered, and they're always on the lookout for someone who can help them get published as quickly and easily as possible. So why shouldn't you be that person? I hope this episode has sparked some ideas for your new blog and given you the courage to put yourself out there. I really can't emphasize enough how much this approach has helped me attract wonderful clients, and I'm confident that it will work for you too. Try it out and let me know how it goes. Thanks for listening.
If you're unhappy in academia and you think you might be a good editor or writing coach, check out my course, Becoming an Academic Editor. This digital course is paired with a 12-week group coaching program to support you through your decision to leave academia or not, and to start building a profitable and rewarding academic editing business. Learn more by going to acadiaediting.com/become an editor. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time.